So now if you look carefully over here, if both the tanks are having the same amount of water level over here, and if there is a pipe connection over here, then in that case the water flow is nothing, is because there is no, what do you say, concentration difference among them. If there is no concentration difference among the two, what do you say, tanks, then there will be no flowing of water. If that is the case, then you need, what do you say, concentration gradient or a concentration difference, so that the water can flow in any direction over here. Now let's proceed further. At VGS equals to your threshold voltage, enough electrons are, what do you say, attracted towards your SiO2 layer, that is nothing but this diagram. Now what do you say, an adequate channel is formed to conduct your current. That means at VTN equals to 1 volt, your channel is being formed over here. If you can see this point, there is a, what do you say, there is a majority of there is a dark line over here, which indicates that when your VTN is equals to your VGS, that is nothing but your threshold voltage equals to your gate voltage, then at that point it is there is no flowing of current, but there is only a formation of channel over here. Now I would expect that we increase the VGS, that is nothing but the gate voltage, by the threshold voltage. Say let your VGS be equals to 4 volt. Please do remember that your VTN was 1 volt, and your VDS now, for the very first time I am applying some amount of, what do you say, VDS over here, wherein your now VDS now what do you say, sorry, wherein your X is the width of the channel near drain. Now what do you say, if you look at this diagram, wherein your X is the what do you say, the depth of the channel inside the N part of on the drain side, and Y is the depth of the channel, this channel being having a certain depth on the Y on the source side over here. So X is nothing but the channel width of channel near the drain, and Y is the width of channel near the source over here. Now as what do you say, VGS is equals to VGD. Now VGS over here is equals to VGD over here. Electrons attracted on the drain side and the source side of the channel will be small. A small current ID flows over here. Since now I would say the D1 diode is what do you say, slightly reverse biased, and the depletion region around N plus of the drain expands. Now if you look carefully over here, your VGS was given as 4 volt. Your VGD is nothing but what do you say, VG minus VD over here. So VG was 4, VD was 0.1. So your VGD is again 4 volt over here. So now in that case, and what do you say, if that is the case, that means there will be a formation of what do you say, a channel, and there will be actually some flowing of current over here. Now if you look carefully, there is a depletion region which has been accumulated across the drain side, across the source side, and across the channel, and over here across the drain side over here. Now the diode D1 over here is reverse biased in nature, and since the VGD voltage is given as 4 volt over here, and there is a what do you say, a negative terminal connected over here, and this connection is appeared due to the field effect between the what do you say, because of the N channel and the positive polarity over here. So this is nothing but an internally generated electric field, hence the name junction field effect transistor. Now this negative will what do you say, repel this negative. In another words, can I say this negative will repel this negative over here. In another word, there will be a small movement of electron, or I would say the current ID will flow. Now since the D1 is slightly reverse biased, the depletion region around N plus of the drain expands in nature. So as you can see over here, there is a depletion region is expanded in nature. Now since your VGD has reduced, the attraction of electron towards the drain side becomes less. In another words, what do you say, the D1 becomes more reverse biased, which increases the width of the depletion region around your N plus of drain. This reduces the channel height, that is nothing but your X, which is being mentioned over here. This reduces your X over here, and what do you say, since your X is being reduced, that means the height of the channel on the drain side has been reducing. This reduces the channel height X on the drain side, but your current still flows through the channel nearly proportional to VDS, following Ohm's law. Now if you look carefully over here, I have applied VGS equals to 4 volt and VDS equals to 2 volt. Now can I say your VGS is 4 volt, and VDS is 2 volt, so your voltage VGD will be nothing but 4 minus 2, which is nothing but 2 volt. So as your VGD is increasing in number, your reverse biasing is also increasing. If reverse biasing is increasing across this diode, then the depletion region across the drain source drain side will also increase. So this depletion region will now try to get inside the channel over here. In other words, it will penetrate into the channel, and the height X over here will now be reduced in in configuration. Now as you can see over here, this is the expanded depletion region, and over here the current is increasing, as since the voltage is being increased from 0.1 to 2 volt over here, the current will be increasing following Ohm's law over here. Now if you look at this diagram, the diagram is straight up till this point, but after a certain point, this point is being moving upwards. That is your X, the height of X is being reduced on the drain side, and you can safely say that now your X is less than Y over here. Now what did we do? We kept your VGS equals to VGS at equal to 4 volt and VDS equals at 3 volt. Now at this point what happened, since since your VGS, which is equals to your 4 volt, which is but of course greater than your VTN, so your VGD now is equals to 1 volt, which is equal to threshold. Now so in another words, your VG is VGD is nothing but VG minus VD, which is equals to VTN. Therefore your VD, if you want to find out the equation for this, VD is equals to VG minus VTN. Since the VD and VG, that is nothing but the drain voltage and the gate voltage, are with respect to ground sources, therefore it can be written as VDS and VGS. Therefore your VD over here can be written as VDS sat, which is equals to VGS minus VTN over here. Now if the word saturation is being reached over here, that means there won't be any more increment in the current, and after this VDS sat, the current will be saturated. Hence if you look into the graph over here, the graph is saturated in nature, and over here when this saturation region is being reached, there is a pinch of point which is being reached over here. That means your X is equals to 0 now. The height X of the channel height on the drain side has now been reduced to 0, and you can say that your X has now been reduced to 0. Now as soon as your VDS, that is nothing but now as soon as your your VDS reaches to 3 volt over here, that is nothing but your VGD, the difference between the gate and the drain voltage, is nothing but 1 volt, which is nothing but a threshold voltage. While still your VGS is equals to 4 volt, the attraction of electron towards the drain end of the channel becomes 0. Now the channel pinches off at point P over here. At point P, if you look carefully over here, let me show you the diagram once again. Now if you see over here, the channel has been pinched off at a point P over here, and there is no channel being formed over here, and the channel pinches off at a point P over here, that is nothing but your X becomes 0, and the VDS at which this happens is is known as VDS sat over here. Now if you look into the diagram, now even though the channel pinches off, the current ID still flows due to the electric field between the N channel and the channel, even though the channel pinches off at the current the current ID still flows due to the electric field between the N channel and the body P. Now this is the reason why transistor is known as a field effect transistor. Now since this electric field remains constant, as you can see over here, the electrons are being attracted from the drain terminal to the channel under the electric field. Now since this electric field remains constant, your ID, that is nothing but your current in this region, that is the current flowing from the electrons flowing from source to drain, that is the current flowing from drain to source, remains constant, and your ID remains constant in spite irrespective of your change in VDS. Now the MOSFET now enters into your saturation region. Now as VDS is further increased, as you can see over here, as your VDS has now been increased to 4 volt over here, then your the threshold voltage is now, then the difference between the drain and the what do you say gate, the difference between the gate and the drain voltage is now being reduced, and the what do you say, the pinch off point, that is nothing but your P, which was initially over here at this point, it now shifts towards this point over here, and being known as P dash, and the channel length reduces from your initial L to now your L dash over here. This is known as channel length variation or channel length modulation, like base width modulation in transistor. We had our early effect over there. Now if your VGS is what do you say reduced further, that means your VGS is now if your VGS increases further, more and more number of electrons will be attracted towards the silicon dioxide. That means the height of channel increases. This will increase the amplitude of VDS at which the pinch off occurs. Initially when your what do you say when your VGS was at 4 volt and your VDS was at 3 volt over here, the pinch off did occur at VGS equals to 4 and VDS equals to 4. Now if you want more amount of electrons irrespective of what you say the pinch off point, then you increase both your VGS and your VDS. So now I would say when your VGS is equals to 6 volt and your VDS over here is given as 5 volt, then the pinch off happens at this certain configuration when your threshold voltage is reached is approximately equals to what do you say the difference between the gate and the drain voltage over here, and this will increase the amplitude of VDS at which the pinch off takes place and the transistor enters in the saturation region. Now when your VGS was 4 volt, your VDS sat was 3 volt. For VGD, which was nothing but 1 volt, which is nothing but your threshold voltage. Similarly, your VGS when it was 6 volt, your VDS saturation was 5 volt for your threshold voltage, which was equals to 1 volt over here. Now if you look carefully for the graphs over here, let us discuss the graph. Now this is the what do you say the output characteristic, while this over here is the transfer characteristic of metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Now the graph is plotted versus the output voltage upon the output current. Now this VGS1, this graph is for VGS1, which is greater than your threshold voltage, which is but of course greater than 1. The second output characteristic is for VGS2 greater than your VGS1. The third output characteristic is for VGS3 greater than your VGS2, and your VGS4 which is greater than your VGS3 over here. Now if you look to the transfer characteristic, the graph is almost a linear graph wherein the transfer characteristic takes place from your threshold voltage, and after a certain point it keeps on increasing in an exponential rate, wherein your VGS1 occurs at the very first time, then your VGS2, then your VGS3. Now there are some terms which we need to discuss first, and then we will proceed further for that. Now the DC parameters over here, the DC parameters, one of them is the conduction parameter, one of the most important and most important for numericals. So now there will be some new terminologies which will be discussed now. Your Kn is given by W by 2L mu n COX, that is nothing but the oxide capacitance that per unit area, amperes per volt square. Now W is the width of the channel, L is the length of the channel. What do you say, mu n is over here is given by the mobility of the electrons in the inversion layer. Now what do we mean by inversion layer is, if you can see over here, I'll just give you this graph as a reference over here. Now initially when there was no channel formation, can I say that the entire area was being occupied by the substrate that was nothing but the P region over here. So now when the channel was being formed, this place was being occupied by the electrons which are negatively charged, as opposed to the one which are holes which were abundant in your P region. So now can I say जहाँ पे पहले मेरे holes थे, अभी मेरे यहाँ पे electrons है. So now I would say that this layer is nothing but the inversion layer over here. So yes, mu n is nothing but the mobility of the electrons in the inversion layer, and L is the length of the channel. COX, that is nothing but epsilon OX upon TOX. Generally this terminologies won't be given. This is the a constant term for COX will be given. The epsilon X is nothing but the oxide permittivity for silicon devices, and epsilon is given by the epsilon for OX is given by 3.9 into 8.8614 into 10 raised to power minus 4. Now then your thickness of the oxide layer is denoted by TOX. The ID, the standard equation for ID over here, that is nothing but the output current, is given by Kn twice into what do you say, your VGS minus VTN. Your VGS is the gate to source voltage, VTN is the threshold voltage, VDS is the output voltage minus the VDS square. If the MOSFET is in non-saturation region, then your ID is given by this equation. If your MOSFET is in saturation region, then your ID is given by Kn VGS minus VTN. A simple and sober equation over here. The VDS saturation equation is given by VGS minus your threshold voltage, that is nothing but your VTN. Now, MOSFET is design variable to justify one of the important questions which appears in the examination for 5 marks. So yes, let's what do you say, just go through what are we looking. Now, in your Kn ka formula, as you had seen over here, your Kn was given by W by 2L mu n into COX in amps per volt square. Now, in your Kn ka formula, your W by L what do you say into mu n COX upon 2, the formula is being what do you say, segregated over here. In this formula, this term is considered to be a constant, being named as what do you say, Kn dash over here. Therefore, your Kn is given by Kn dash upon 2 into W by L. Now, since Kn decides your ID, that is nothing but your this Kn decides your ID over here in case of saturation and non-saturation region, different MOSFETs can be fabricated on the same substrate by just changing the W by L ratio. So if you just change this ratio over here, W by L ratio, then different type of MOSFET can be what do you say, fabricated on the same material, or I would say on the same substrate. Hence, by just varying your W by L, your Kn varies. If your Kn varies, your ID varies over here. So yes, W by L becomes your design variable over here. Now, testing for saturation and non-saturation region. To find out whether the N MOSFET is working in saturation or not, the saturation or non-saturation, by doing the DC analysis, we find VDSQ first of all. Now, if your VDSQ, which is less than your VDS set, which is given now the formula for VDS start is given as VGS minus VTN, then your NMOS over here, this is not NOMS, this is NMOS. NMOS over here, printing mistake beta. Then your NMOS is in non-saturation region. This is the one thing which you need to remember, that if your VDS is less than your saturation value, then it is in non-saturation region. If your VDS is greater than what do you say is greater than VDS set, then the NMOS, the again a printing mistake, is in saturation region. Now we'll find ID using the formula 2. Don't worry, when we'll cover the numerical, we'll get to know more about such kind of what do you say formulas and their application. For MOSFET to work as an amplifier, it should be in the saturation region. One of the important parameter for the MOSFET to work as an amplifier, that it should be in the saturation region. Now, there are some parameters that we need to discuss before proceeding further, before proceeding to the AC analysis as we had done for BJT. Now, the transconductance parameter over here. Now, if you look over here, you have an ID over here, that is nothing but your AC, what do you say, output current, and this is your DC output current. When you combine both of them, you get AC plus DC as an output over here. Similarly, where you have a AC input voltage and you have a DC input voltage, when you combine both of them, you get VGS, that is nothing but your AC plus DC, what do you say, input voltage over here. Now, in your saturation region, the formula is given by what do you say, Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square, which is equals to Kn. Now this VGS over here, can be split up into your DC plus AC minus your threshold, the whole raised to square, which is equals to Kn into VGS minus VTN plus VGS. Now this chotu VGS is being kept aside and all the DC components are being taken aside. So VGS minus VTN plus VGS ka square, which is equals to Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square plus twice of VGS minus VTN into VGS plus VGS ka square over here. Now, if you open up this bracket and multiply the Kn inside, you receive Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square plus Kn into twice of VGS minus VTN plus VGS into VGS. This chotu VGS has been taken outside. Now, there is a condition over here that if your what do you say, this middle term over here, if your VGS, if your twice of VGS minus VTN is much greater than your VGS, then the term VGS square, that is nothing but this term or the product, can be eliminated. Square term always shows non-linearity. that is nothing but distortion in output current. Therefore your ID can now be approximated to Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square plus Kn into twice of VGS minus VTN into VGS. Now can you, if you look carefully, this equation is for IDQ and this equation over here is for chotu IDQ. That means this one your chotu IDQ can now be equated to Kn VGS into twice of VGS minus VTN over here. Now if you look carefully, this is the output current, this is the input voltage. So now if I take this input voltage below this output current, can I say this is nothing but I by V ka format? I by V is nothing but conductance. Since we have output upon input ka formula, it is known as transconductance, and it has been given by GM, which is equals to ID by VGS, which is equals to twice of Kn VGS minus VTN. Now using ID is equals to Kn VGS minus VTN ka square, VTS minus VGN into 2, we receive GM, which is equals to twice of under root of Kn into IDQ over here. So now this is the formula that we are going to use for numericals, and we will proceed further for now for AC output resistance over here. Now as VDS goes on increasing in your saturation region, but of course you need to remember that when if you want your BJT to be working as an amplifier, then it has to be in the saturation region. Then as your VDS goes on increasing in your saturation region, the channel length decreases, since your ID is directly proportional to W by L. So if you want to increase your if your length decreases over here, your ID increases over here, since it is inversely proportional to each other, hence your ID increases. Now D1, that was nothing but the diode, which becomes more and more reverse bias. This increases the electric field, or nothing but the potential barrier between the channel and the body, as we had discussed. Now due to the increased electric field, more number of electrons are attracted towards the channel from the drain side, that is the one which was on the right side. Now in both the cases, as your VDS, that is nothing but your output current, increases due to channel length modulation, your ID increases. It means, like base width modulation, the channel length modulation provides slope to the output characteristic in the saturation region. Now where your VA is a positive entity, and like early voltage in BJT, and similarly if you extend all these lines over here from the output characteristic, you they converge at a point which is known as VA, and lambda is known as channel length modulation parameter. Inverse of this point will give you the slope, and the output resistance is nothing but the inverse of this term over here. Now let's proceed further. We have to derive the formula for RO. So yes, your RO won't be that easy in nature. Now your ID is given as Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square at your Q point, without considering the channel length modulation. Therefore in saturation region, your ID remains constant. Now if you are considering the channel length modulation, then the formula changes to your ID is given as Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square into 1 plus lambda into VDS. Now the output resistance RO due to channel length modulation is defined as 1 upon RO is nothing but DABA ID by DABA VDS at Q point and your threshold voltage at constant. Therefore the equation changes to DABA of Kn VGS minus VTN ka square into 1 plus lambda into VDS with respect to your DABA VDS. Therefore Kn VGS minus VTN ka square at Q point into your lambda. Therefore your 1 upon RO is nothing which is equals to IDQ into lambda. Since this equation is nothing but the formula for IDQ in saturation region, hence your IDQ over here, 1 upon RO is given by IDQ lambda, or RO is given by 1 upon IDQ into lambda over here. So yes, this was for the formula of RO. We will be using it in numericals, don't worry about it. So yes, now proceeding further, we have different biasing circuits as we had for BJT. In BJT we had collector, sorry, we had fixed bias, we had self bias, we had self bias with RE bypass. Then we had our mother circuit, that was nothing but PD bias. Similarly, we will be having some circuit diagram for, or some different biasing circuit for your E MOSFET, so that it can work as an amplifier in the saturation region. Now, the transfer characteristics of your E MOSFET, that is nothing but your N channel, is given as your ID is equals to 0 for your VGS less than equals to VT, and that means from this point to this point, when your VTN, when your VGS was less than your VTN, the current was 0 over here. Or VGS TH, that is nothing but your threshold VGS, it is also known as threshold voltage over here. Now, when your VGS increased beyond this point, the current increased, as you can see in the graph over here. This increment in the graph is being determined by this formula, Kn into VGS minus VTN ka square. That is nothing but the graph over here. For your VGS greater than VTN, your ID is defined by this formula over here. In data sheets, normally your VGS on and ID on are defined. Now, what is the data sheet? When we will be doing numericals on designing, I'll make you understand what do we mean by that. Now, up till then, please do remember that in case of MOSFET, the VGS on and ID on are defined on some kind of a data sheet. कुछ तो एक बड़ा sheet है जिसमें वो सब values predefined है बेटा, standard values है. Now, to now to draw the transfer characteristic, few point can be obtained as follows. Now, few point can be obtained as follows. At your ID equals to 0, your VGS is equals to VTN, and when your ID is equals to ID on, your VGS is equals to VGS on. You have considered a point on this graph over here, and you have dropped two projections on the x-axis and one on the y-axis. Now, the projection on the x-axis is known as VGS on, because over here your transistor, that is nothing but your MOSFET, is working in as an amplifier. Similarly, यहाँ पे if you are projecting this point on the y-axis, it will be giving you ID on. So K can be calculated from the equation 1 over here as Kn is equals to ID on upon VGS on minus VTN ka square. Now, knowing Kn and taking the any value of VGS between VTN and VGS on as VGS1, we can find ID1 from equation 1, that is ID1 equals to Kn into VGS1 minus VT ka square. Taking any value of VGS which is greater than your VGS on, which is equals to VGS2 over here. You are taking any random value over here. ID2 can be calculated as ID2 which is equals to ID2 which is equals to Kn into VGS2 minus VTN ka square over here. The above 4 points, that is nothing but the ones which we have discussed over here from 1 to 4, are enough to make the transfer characteristic. That is nothing but the graph which is being depicted over here, the transfer characteristic ka graph. Now, we'll try to understand the feedback biasing arrangement and the potential divider biasing ka circuit diagram. Now, your feedback biasing arrangement. Now, since in your feedback biasing, that means the output is connected to an input via a resistor RG. Since the input terminal is gate, G is being denoted for the input terminal. Hence, RG is being the resistor being connected from the output to the input. And as we had said, in case of a JFET, the input diode is reverse biased in nature. Hence, since the input diode is reverse biased, your input current will be 0. That means your IG will be 0. Therefore, your drop across RG, that is nothing but your since the drop across RG is 0, that means your drop is 0, means your RG is short over here. In that case, therefore your DC equivalent will be as shown, wherein your your VGSQ, the voltage between gate and source, will be equals to the voltage between drain and source over here, since this terminal is short circuited. Now, the DC load line that we need to plot, KVL in the D loop. If we start applying a KVL in D loop over here, we get VDD minus IDRD minus VDS, which is equals to 0. Therefore, your ID can be written as minus 1 upon RD into VDS plus VDD by RD over here. Now, this is the equation of the line y is equals to mx plus c, where y is nothing but the current on the y axis. Your what do you say, x axis has the output characteristic, that is nothing but your drain current, and what do you say, VDD by RD is nothing but a constant over here. Now let what do you say, first time let your y coordinate be 0, you get your x coordinate. Let your x coordinate be 0, we get y coordinate. Similarly, I'll make your ID equals to 0, you get VDS, that is nothing but your x coordinate, which is equals to your VDD, and VDS, which is equals to 0. VDS equals to 0, that is nothing but ID equals to VDD by RD over here. So this is the graph for what do you say, your output characteristic with a Q point on the DC what do you say, load line over here. Similarly, for potential divider biasing, now what happens in potential divider biasing, the circuit is quite simple to you, is similar to my BJT PD biasing. The only difference is that the BJT is now being replaced by MOSFET over here. Now the formula for VG, as we had found out for what do you say, the threshold voltage, not the threshold voltage, sorry, VT, we had found out the two माँ का आशीर्वाद में से एक आशीर्वाद था हमारा V या VTH, which is equals to VDD upon R2, VDD into R2 upon R1 plus R2. Then we apply a KVL in gate loop. So the gate loop, if you apply KVL in gate loop, the voltage across this terminal, or the voltage across this resistance R2 is nothing but VG. So it will be nothing but V. If you start from the this lower terminal and move in the circular fashion, then the equation turns out to be VG minus VGS minus IDRS, which is equals to 0. So your equation is nothing but VG minus VGS minus IDRS, which is equals to 0. Therefore your VGS is equals to VG minus ID into RS. Now the transfer characteristic can be drawn as given in what do you say, A part, that was the one which we had discussed above, the 4 points. As you can see over here, the transfer characteristic can be drawn using this 4 points, and so your final equation will be nothing but when your ID is 0, your VGS is equals to VG, and when your VGS is equals to 0, your ID is nothing but VG by RS over here. So if you can see over here, this is nothing but the output characteristics for with the Q point and the DC load line in case of a PD biasing arrangement. Now the biasing for D MOSFET. Now what is D MOSFET? We'll just learn after this topic. The biasing for D MOSFET are exactly same as that of JFET. So we'll just see now what do we mean by a D MOSFET. Now what D MOSFET actually stands for, depletion MOSFET beta. Now the question sometimes is being asked as draw the constructional detail of N type depletion MOSFET, N channel depletion MOSFET also you can read it, wherein explain its operation and draw the output and transfer characteristic, show the symbol to be used. Now first of all, let me give you one clear cut hint that in depletion MOSFET the channel is already being formed and you don't need to apply some certain set of voltages to make this channel. यहाँ पर channel already बना हुआ है, N channel, वहाँ पे हमें बनाना पड़ता था बेटा by applying some certain voltage and keeping a difference between the gate and the drain voltage, so that a channel is being formed, then the VDS is being applied, so that there is a movement of electron. And so yes, यहाँ पे आपके पास N channel already है बेटा. Now what is that? Let's see बेटा. The construction of the ND MOSFET is as shown in the figure over here. Here the N channel exists even if your VGS is equals to 0. Now if your VDS is applied, that means the voltage at the drain is applied, ID flows. That means it means the channel is not broken like your E MOSFET. Now if some important point over here, if a negative voltage is applied at the gate, if some negative voltage is applied at this terminal over here, can I say the negative terminal will appear on the metal layer over here, metal के ऊपर negative part आ जाएगा बेटा. So this negative will try to repel the negative electrons in this N channel. So in another words, if negative voltage is applied at the gate, electron in the N channel will get repelled. This will generate the depletion region, hence the name depletion MOSFET. Just a moment, beta. Now hence the name this will generate depletion region, hence the name depletion MOSFET, and reduces the width of the channel. As you can see, there is a, if the channel was this big, then there was a reduction in the channel which is being present over here now, and reduce the width of the channel, therefore your ID will reduce. If VGS is further increased in the negative direction, then the width of the depletion region is will increase, while the width of the channel at minus VGS is equals to VTN, that is nothing but your threshold. The channel width becomes 0 and your ID is equals to 0. That means हमने जब यहाँ पे नेगेटिव वोल्टेज इनिशियली अप्लाई किया बेटा, तब यहाँ पर थोड़े बहुत नेगेटिव पार्ट्स आ गए थे बेटा. नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस नेगेटिव पोलैरिटी, द इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इन द एन चैनल वर बीइंग रिपेल्ड, and the channel was being reduced by a considerable height. Now the VGS, that is nothing but the gate voltage, is being more increased in the negative direction, so more number of electrons are being repelled. So there comes a point wherein if you equate it to the threshold voltage, then at that point the depletion region, the width of the depletion region over here, it is so much increased that there is no movement of electron from this side to this side, and your current drops to 0. Now this mode of operation of D MOSFET is known as depletion mode. Now what happens is, if a positive gate voltage is applied, which is greater than 0, now if positive gate voltage is applied, the electrons will get SiO2 towards layer, and the number of electrons in the N channel will increase or get enhanced, or they will gain some extra velocity. This increases your ID in the channel over here. This mode of operation of D MOSFET is known as enhancement mode. Now it means D MOSFET can be operated in both D mode as well as D mode with D mode and E mode with VGS equals to negative and VGS equals to positive respectively. So this is the graph for the drain and the transfer characteristic, that ID is equals to over here your output characteristic are being given, wherein the first output characteristic is for VTN, is for VGS3, which is greater than your VGS4, which is greater than your VTN. Your VGS, this one is for VGS3 greater than 0. Then this one is here obtained when your VGS is equals to 0. Then over here it is greater than 0, and over here it is greater than the first part. Now this line over here indicates your saturation voltage VDS sat, which is given by VGS minus VTN over here. Now over here, if you plot the transfer characteristics, then if you look carefully, over this side it is being operated in the D mode, and over here it is being operated in the E mode over here. Now note, for depletion mode, your VTN or the VP is negative, and your ID over the formula for ID is given by IDSS 1 minus VGS by VP ka square. That is nothing but the same, resembling to the ones which we had in BJT, and your ID over here is given as the one value which is over here. If you have been given the conduction parameter, then your Kn is given as VGS minus your VTN ka square over here. Now we need to note an important relation, that the current voltage relationship of D MOSFET in linear and saturation region is same as that of N channel E MOSFET. So yes, D MOSFET and E MOSFET have the same current voltage relationship in in the saturation region over here. So yes, that was all for MOSFET theory. In the next part we'll start with the numericals. Up till then, thank you.